So we have a sister from the UK who's visiting Canada. And while on her vacation here, she went grocery shopping and she was blown away by the prices of just a couple of items that she purchased. Take a look at her response.
Canada, Canada, Canada. Canadian people, I feel sorry for you. Whoever your prime minister is needs to come to the front. I don't know his name, the new one, whatever. Trudeau, you too, you come here. Because what do you mean? The prices in the shops, in the supermarkets. Oh. Are you having a laugh? Are you having a bubble? Listen, I'm only here on holiday. I went to the supermarket yesterday. I got two items. I got a packet of crisp or chips and a tin of custard. Guess how much that cost me? Let the British people scream before I even answer. $10.33. $10.33. Do you know how much British pounds that is? That's £7 something. For a packet of crisp and a tin of custard. And it's not even British custard. It's not even imported. It was made here. Was it? I don't know. You people are suffering. I feel so... The other day, I wanted to get grapes. Why was it nearly $10 for grapes? Grapes. That is £1 something, £2 something in the UK. In Marks and Spencer's. In Lidl and Aldi, it's even less. And I was about to spend nearly $10. The way I put that back, quick, fast, and in a hurry. If the Canadians decide to revolt, I'm with them. I'll be supporting them from afar, but I'll be supporting, because what is this?
And that is Canada grocery life, okay? Bottom line is, if you don't earn at least a six-figure income, whether it's you by yourself as a single person or combined income with you and your spouse, you're literally suffering. You got to decide whether or not you want to get that extra loaf of bread, or can you do without the bread this week and just get, some bagels, or get, some muffins, and, get only half a dozen eggs instead of a dozen eggs. And it goes on and on and on. So while you're going through the grocery aisle, you're trying to figure out, what do we really need, and figure out, what are you going to put down? What are you going to get? What are the basic necessities? Because the grocery prices are insane. So this sister saying that she feels sorry for Canada. Oh, yes, please feel sorry for us. Please feel sorry for us. And she's calling on the current prime minister. She couldn't remember his name. His name is Mark Carney. And she's also saying, Trudeau, pull up, because is the Liberal government to blame? Partly. But let's really get into why the grocery prices are insane in Canada. So let's start with corporate greed, which is real. Okay, we're talking about the big three. The big three would be Loblaws, Metro, and Empire, otherwise known as Sobeys. And they control most of the grocery market. And they're not your friendly neighborhood, mom and pop stores. These are billion-dollar corporations with executives clocking bonuses, while we're out here debating if we can afford bread and eggs, one or the other or both. So let's just give an example of Loblaws. They reported record profits during the same period that the food prices soared. So what's the translation for that? The price hikes aren't just from inflation. They're also padding their pockets. Then we have to look at the supply chain distribution. Global shipping has been on a struggle mode since the pandemic. And while things have somewhat stabilized, the ripple effects are still slapping Canada's food imports. Add in the war in Ukraine, which affected grain and fertilizing supply. Then we talk about climate disasters. We got the droughts and the floods. And then the cost of fuel for shipping and trucking is still up. So Canada imports a lot of its food, especially produce. So you're paying extra just to get those sad little strawberries across the border. Then the loonie. Our dollar is beyond. It's like a new bottom. Okay, so the Canadian dollar isn't flexing like it used to, especially compared to the US dollar. So when we import food priced in USD, it comes with a cost that's more. Okay, so even if it's the same product, Americans are buying cheaper down south. Then we have the lack of government regulation. So the government's been talking about cracking down on price gouging and bringing more transparency into the food pricing, but so far, it's a lot of press conferences and a lot of zero action. In 2023, the feds called the grocery CEOs in for a meeting and basically told them to, quote, do better, end quote. You know what happened? The prices didn't drop. Okay, so we're paying more for less. Yogurt tubs, smaller bags of chips, mostly air in the chips, cereal boxes, basically just expensive dust now. So you're being scammed, softly and politely, Canadian style. So then the question begs, what can be done? Well, for one thing, we can support local farmers and food co ops. And we can push our MPs to support real price regulation and corporate transparency. And you know what? There's no shame in checking the flyers either. We get flyers in the mail all the time. And I know I will cut some coupons from time to time when I see some sales. And I'll go to that grocery store and I'll be that girl in the aisle with my coupons. I sure will. There's no shame in my game, okay? Now, let's talk about the Liberal government and whether or not they are to blame. Well, I would say that the Liberals are somewhat to blame, and here's why. They were really slow to regulate grocery giants. They called the CEOs, as I said, and they called them in for basically a scolding, but didn't force price caps or break up monopolies. It was more PR than policy, in my opinion. They have weak antitrust laws. They've promised to give the Competition Bureau more power, but change has been glacial, like moving at a glacial pace. And that doesn't help. Then we have carbon tax. So what we are hearing from the farmers and truckers is that it's increasing transportation and food production costs. So while economists say the impact is minor, it still fuels political blame. Then we have this silly grocery rebate. But let's be real, it was just a band-aid, okay? That did not help anything because I think the grocery rebate was like $250. And so what did that do? What does that do for a family of 7? And it's a one-time thing. How does that help? Because next week or 2 weeks from now, you got to go get grocery again, right? So how does that rebate help? This is all under the Liberal umbrella. So, that's my 2 cents on why we have so many issues. And yes, I do blame the Liberal government. The Conservatives also play a role in it. But at the end of the day, it's been the Liberal government that's been governing this country for over a decade now. So they are the ones who have been the decision makers. Now we have people here from all over the world. We have a huge, huge influx of immigrants in Canada. Our food banks are overwrought. They're basically turning people away at this point. And that's all because people are struggling in this country. So when this sister says she feels sorry for us and says Canadians are suffering, that is in fact true. Now, Canada, you picked another Liberal government. So now we all have to live with this. Or we leave. As far as whether it'll change anytime soon, in my humble opinion, doubtful. But thank you, sister, for outlining, as somebody coming in with a fresh pair of eyes that doesn't live here and has something to compare it against, what we Canadians are going through. It is absolutely nuts. Let me know what you think about all this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News app. You can grab it at your Google or Apple store. You will not be disappointed. Download that app. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ansah Unfiltered. Until next time, please be safe.